Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, Talk Tuesday is my weekly segment where I go over tips to help you enhance your finances. So today's topic, we'll be talking about financial habits, having successful financial habits, and what exactly is a habit, you might say. I don't know the dictionary version, but I simply something that you do so often that it's hard for you to stop. So you want to have that type of habit with your finances so that your finances can become successful, remain successful, and that you continue to do those things that actually, keep you on the right path to just reaching and exceeding all of your goals. So I welcome you today. Thank you for being here. Let me pull up my comments. Hello, thank you for joining. Happy Tuesday. So we're going to get into them. Now March is. Hey, all right. Thank you for hopping in. So March is actually credit awareness. So March next month, March is actually starting tomorrow. But next month we will be going into some credit things. I'm the budget coach, so I'm going to be talking about budgeting. But we will go into some credit things next month, so stay tuned to that. But today we are talking about successful financial habits. I have 5 to go over because we want you to step into March ready to be financially successful. We want that every month, but now that it's one day until March, we want to get into that. So our first financial habit is setting financial goals. So we always want to know what we're working towards, what we want, know what we're striving to. And what I would challenge you to do when you're setting your goals for March, if you haven't already set them, hello. If you haven't already set your financial goals for March, think about that goal and think deeper into that goal. So just say, for example, for myself personally, one of my goals is to retire, right? And I want to retire earlier. So with that goal, I have to really dig deep and think about that. So I have to think, when do I want to retire? I want to have to think about, how am I going to retire? And the how is where the money comes in, because I had to figure out, how am I going to financially maintain everything that I have now without my income from my job, right? So you had to think about, well, I would have to think about is what I pay every month, and have that for the year, how I will supplement that income. Is there anything that I can eliminate? And think about what other income I can bring in, for instance, from my business. But just think about everything. When you think about your goal, think about everything that impacts it, and think about how you can use those things to get you to that goal. So think about just a little bit deeper. So I hope that makes sense, because it makes sense. Hey, so it makes sense to me explaining it, but I don't know if I'm explaining it well. But I just want you to just think about every aspect of how things affect. So I had to think about income coming in, think about the bills that I have, think about savings for an emergency. So when you create your goal, just think about everything that affects it, so that you can actually reach that goal and make it easier for you to keep going and to reach your next set and your next and your next. So number 2 is to have a budget or a financial plan. You have to have a plan to guide you on your journey. So for me, I want to, retire, right? So now, with the first step, I figured out what my goal was, how much money I needed to reach that goal to be able to retire early and comfortably, right? So now my budget is to figure out where I can manage my money so that I'm paying things off that I can eliminate. So it'll be things that I don't have to worry about when I retire. And also to build that savings for if anything were to happen, because things happen. So we want to have the savings, we want to have the emergency fund. But without that budget, it's hard for us to see where our money is going, to guide it the path we want to. Hey, thank you for joining. To guide us on our path to where we're going. So we want to have that budget so we can keep track, so we can see what we're doing, so we can come in, adjust, update, and make sure that we're staying on track to reach our number 1, which was our goal. So number 3 is to review your budget. So you'll want to review your budget often, because there's things that happen. So for instance, if maybe one of my bills was higher or one of my bills was lower. Doesn't always have to be a bad thing that affects your budget. So, but just checking your budget, you're able to see everything that's going on with it. So, if my bills maybe were higher, then I know that I have less to put towards something that I have going on. It could be savings, it could be emergency fund, it could be whatever that thing might be. But I know from looking at my budget that I need to make these adjustments. If I never checked it, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to make those adjustments. So it's important that we check it, see what's going on, so we can make sure that we continue on the path that we're going on. And I also want to just remind you to review your bank statements. See, and I spoke about this before, but if you weren't on there, basically just make sure that you're sure of what's being charged. Make sure there's things that you actually purchased, things that you actually did. Check your credit card statements and make sure, sometimes, people do things. That's what happens, right? So just make sure that everything that's on that bill is your bill, everything that you accumulated, or make sure you were charged what you were supposed to be charged. Make sure you didn't go to the store and something was rang up twice. Review your receipts, all of that things. Just make sure you are checking things that you need to check to make sure that you're staying on track and nothing is working against you and it's not supposed to be. Things happen, but we don't want to let things happen that aren't supposed to be happening. You're going to check your budget after this live. Yay. That's what listen. That makes me smile because that's what I want you to do, to check it, and it's right on time because guess what? March 1st is tomorrow. Number 4, I have to pay your bills. You're very welcome. To pay your bills on time. Sometimes we get in the habit of thinking like, okay, so my bills due Thursday, I get paid on Friday. That's okay. I'll pay it on Friday. No, you're supposed to pay it on Thursday because that is the due date. Now you're paying it late. Now you're getting a late fee. And depending on how close you are to the limit, that could be an over the limit fee. Also, this is affecting you if maybe you want to get a credit limit increase with this company, or if it's a different type of, maybe it's not a credit card, maybe it's something else. Maybe it could be a loan, but maybe if you want a loan in the future, they're going to remember, oh, you know what? She didn't pay on time. So maybe we'll give her a smaller amount, or maybe we'll give her a higher interest rate. And on top of that, you have to think about how it affects your credit. So just think about paying stuff on time. Don't even one day late is still late. I have to tell you about myself. So I pay my bills right online and I do it on Thursdays before I get paid on Friday and I schedule it. One time I was messing around, I was doing stuff. I might have been doing homework. I was doing something. But for whatever reason, I did something and I didn't pay my bill. I didn't schedule it and it was like 12:07 in the morning, right? So it was late. I had to pay $40 for 7 minutes. Don't do it. Don't do it. And plan ahead and don't wait until the last minute. Avoid those fees. Those fees can go to savings. Those fees can go to your emergency. Those fees can go to going out and having a good time. Whatever it is you want to do. So plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. All right. And then spend less than you earn. This is the last one. Spend less than you earn. What I would challenge you to do is to, when you're buying things, to use only your cash on hand or your debit card. So that way you are spending your actual money. You're not spending money that is not, you're not borrowing the money to spend. So when you're using your credit card, chances are sometimes we get in our head and we'll say something like, I'm going to save my cash and I'm going to use my credit card, save this cash. But how much are you paying extra for that credit? How much are you paying the interest on that $20, $30 that you could have used your cash? Now you're paying it back to the company on interest. And then when you already have money on that credit card, right? Think about this, that you're paying all that interest and you can't eliminate it until you pay it off in full. So every month the interest is coming, it keeps coming, it keeps coming, it keeps coming. We don't want to have unnecessary interest. So don't build on by just buying little small things because that adds up, that little couple dollars every time. Then you look at your bill and like, oh my gosh, I'm up to $500 or I'm up to $400. But even that, the interest, look at your credit card bill and look how much your minimum payment is versus how much is going to your interest, and just see when you're paying that bill, most of it is interest. So try to avoid that interest by using your cash or your debit card, and just make sure you're spending, what you make, not spending more than you make and working backwards. They definitely have you fooled, fooled with that one. Yes, because that interest, and a lot of times when you go to the stores, they'll say, "Well, I'll save that for credit talk next week." But just be mindful of what you have going on and how it affects you in the long run. So building those successful habits, just to get back to the point of today, successful financial habits. When you get to do things for your finances, and you stay on track with it, and you do it so much it becomes your norm. Like I know when I get paid on that Wednesday before, I need to check and see what's due, when it's due, make sure I'm on track. Thursday. I schedule it all to come out on Friday when I get paid. So once you have a successful habit, you keep rolling with it. It's something that you don't stop because you're used to it. You do it over and over again. And then always keep in mind, my budget is not a bad thing. The word budget is not a bad thing. If you want to call it a financial plan, whatever you want to call it, it is your guide to your financial success, to your future, your comfort, your everything you want. So have that to guide you, not to restrict you, but to guide you on your path. Because just think about everything you're doing is to be more comfortable later, to do more of what you want later, to just have a better financial success. Yes, good. Yes, yes, yes. All right, let's see. Until you get those statements. Yes, until you get those statements, and then it's like, oh my gosh. Yes, but next week we're going to talk about credit. And let me see. I don't have my calendar. I'm not sure which day, but throughout the month we'll talk about credit. So remember, we go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Talk Tuesday. Every Friday I release a video at 6 a.m. Eastern. Now, throughout the month, remember, I'm still the budget coach, not the credit coach, but I will be having chats throughout the month that discuss credit in some form or fashion. And I will also still be talking about money management. So it'll be all mixed in there, but I'm going to try my best to talk more about credit since it will be Credit Awareness Month. And I'm glad to see there's excitement to hear about that. And I'm excited to put something together to talk about that. And I thank you all for joining me as always. I will see you all next week. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe and join me next time. I would love to have you. And then if you have questions, definitely put them in the chat. I will watch the comments after the live so I can reply back to you then. And happy budgeting. Have a great evening. Have enjoyed the rest of your week. And I will see you next week. Good night.